So, these are my dogs. In the last video you saw Max's dog named Pim. This is Puck. Puck. Because she's round and black.
Sorry.
And black dogs matter.
So welcome everyone to our super fancy new podcasting studio, because we had a lot of positive feedback on our last video that we recorded here, concerning the top 11 fails video on the Autobahn. Go check it out in the top right corner. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. We thought we would record another one. End of the year is almost here, as you can see from our Christmas decorations. And well, we were already thinking about doing a video like this.
The most difficult
question to answer.
Yeah.
We get this question a lot.
What is the best car or the coolest car you've ever driven?
Yeah. It is impossible to answer.
Because the definition is also quite hard.
Yeah.
What is the best car? What is good?
Yeah. So today we both made a top 10 of the most memorable cars.
Yeah, that's the definition we've given it.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be the fastest or the best or the coolest, just memorable. Why is it still sticking in your mind, and why is it still...
It has to itch your brain, your memory.
Yeah. So there's something special about it.
Yeah.
And it can be 100 different things.
And reasons.
But it just stuck.
Yeah.
So that's our definition.
We've done how many cars? 2,500?
Yeah, 2,500 cars probably. We've been going for 15 years almost. In 3 months is our 15-year anniversary, which is pretty insane.
Yeah.
We're definitely doing a special video for that as well. Maybe we'll do a massive compilation or...
That would be cool to do. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, we'll do that as well. But today we're...
Brain trust.
Yeah, we have such good ideas. But today we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves in that respect and doing sort of a top 10 of the last 15 years. What do we remember, and what do we want to show you guys? Maybe you've been with us for a year and you haven't even seen a couple of these cars. So
and we don't know about each other's lists.
Yeah, it's a secret list.
Yeah, so
Secret Santa.
We were thinking about how much of an overlap we're going to have. So of the top 10, I think we have 5.
I think we have 3.
Okay, whoever gets it right
gets a beer.
Yeah, we're on a budget here.
Yeah.
It's a cheap beer too.
Cheap beer. Okay, so we are going to go one at a time.
Yeah, in random order.
And then I or Martijn will share if we also have that car in the list.
Yeah.
We will watch a couple of seconds of that clip of the car. You guys can see what it's about. And then we will share, what happened that day maybe, or why did it stick with us, or why is it one of our favorites. Also maybe how did we get to drive it. Maybe that's also cool to share a bit of the story of how it came about.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. You go first, car number 1.
Woo! Which one to pick? Okay, so the first car I'm listing
So you can also see that Martijn is almost a year older than me. Just look at his size of letters. Versus mine.
No, but I don't want to spoil the list. Let me get me reading glasses.
It's so big.
It's not.
Can't say a freaking word in this office.
Okay, I'm going to do it like this. I'm 5. Yeah. Okay. It's the Porsche 991 GT2 RS by LC Performance. So,
I also have a GT2 RS in my list.
I figured.
But it's not the same car, so it doesn't count for our top 10.
No, it doesn't?
No.
Okay. So, we got the chance to drive a GT2 RS, but only one of us got to drive it, which was Max.
Yeah.
On the Autobahn with Dolph decking.
No, first I went to Spain.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I went to Bilbao and there was like a massive flood, insane rains, torrential rains. What do you call that? It was insane. And I got to drive it and I was so scared. I was scared shitless of driving that car.
I never get why they do introductions in Bilbao, because Bilbao is known for one thing. It's rain. I was there with the Q6. Rain, rain, rain.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area.
Yeah.
But it was just pouring down. And this car was just released and it was owned by Pon, which is the Dutch importer for Porsche. It was in their private collection and we had to drive that car, which was like 350,000 euros new, in the rain on like crazy mountain roads, and I was just scared shitless. But I absolutely loved the car. A ridiculous car of ridiculous facts that I just... they don't really do the car justice. That doesn't do it as well. It's a tricky car. I said it already, those Dunlop Sport Max Race 2 tires, they are really slippery. I also had Dolph decking with me on that trip.
Okay.
He gave me some good like pointers on driving in the wet.
Try to release your forearms a little bit more.
Okay, yeah.
If it's possible, if you see the exit of the corner, try to turn in quite quick and rewind the steering wheel as quick as possible.
Remember that braking to heat up your tires?
Yeah, yeah.
That was from Dolph decking.
Okay.
After that, I drove it because we said, we have like a really crappy video. And then we got to drive it on the Autobahn, again with Dolph decking.
Yeah.
He sat next to me. This is the only time that someone sat next to me with an imaginary throttle.
Instead of an imaginary brake.
Normally you have people like braking, like, oh, fuck. This guy was next to me and he was like doing a throttle. It was just hilarious. And I did 342, I think.
Yeah.
On the Autobahn. Fell in love with the GT2 RS and I could not wait for the moment that Martijn got to drive it as well.
Because Max said to me, okay, I just drove the best car ever.
Yeah.
I really do hope you get to drive it someday. So I was left in tears.
Yeah, it was amazing.
For 2 years, I think.
A couple of years, yeah.
Yeah. And then we came to LC Performance, where we did a lot of cool cars, as you guys know. And they had a stage 1 tuned 800 horsepower GT2 RS.
Yeah.
And
stage 1?
I think it was.
No, stage 2 downpipes and
whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It was 800 true horsepower.
Yeah, maybe a bit more.
And that was when we did the premiere video with the AMG GT Black Series.
Yeah.
Which we really didn't care about since we also had the GT2 RS.
Yeah.
We had them together. So the AMG GT, and the AMG GT Black Series was just a mere shadow of the GT2 RS.
Yeah.
So that, we have this one clip where we chase each other down the Autobahn with the two cars.
We were not racing.
We weren't. I just met you.
Yeah.
Coincidentally.
Ja.
Maar dat kwam er uit.
Coincidentally.
Coincidentally.
Yeah.
That was it. And we just went quite fast.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I got to experience like the full acceleration and stability of the car.
But also, we were driving on that same Autobahn the entire day. And it was so busy. It was crazy. And then I was in the GT Black Series and you were in the GT2 RS. And I finally saw
there was this magic
one
opening.
gap and I just floored it. I overtook you.
I
did top speed in that car.
Yeah.
And then you came behind me. You did top speed in that car, 349 or 3...
something around,
something like
but
350.
It wasn't top speed.
No, it wasn't top speed. No. But
It could have gone a lot faster.
yeah, okay. But we finally got to do like proper speed
Yeah.
with that car.
And normally when you do like 350, which is quite fast, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You can feel like, okay, this is the car's limit of balance and
Yeah.
stability. And with the GT2 RS, I felt like it could have gone 400
Yeah, it's amazing.
stability-wise
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
So it felt like it was right at home at 350, which
Yeah.
to me makes it one of the craziest cars ever.
Yeah, it's one of the most settled cars. You cannot impress that car.
That big wing really does something.
Yeah, it's not phased by speed or by cornering speed. It just takes it and just it's so planted.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It sounds like nothing,
Yeah.
but
No,
the whole mechanical experience you get with the
Yeah.
car is amazing.
lovely. Okay, nice.
I think we've covered 2 cars now.
yeah, that we've covered.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a good start. Okay, so I'll go with my second one. I'll take
Was
one.
that an overlap? I
uh,
think it is.
do you think it's an overlap?
I think
Okay,
it is.
okay, fine.
That's one
I
for
didn't
the
take
overlap.
that into consideration.
Okay.
I will do one that I'm 100% sure that you don't have this one. So we have a separate one, which is the radical SR3 SL.
I'm going. No. Really?
Yeah.
Explain to me and them why.
So this was, I think, 12 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
It was the most insane experience I had up until that point in a car, because it is just a race car for the street, and this is a term that is overused.
Yeah.
But that actually was a race car for the street with
Yeah.
proper aero, functional aero, with a Ford EcoBoost engine and a pneumatic sequential gearbox.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they had a sequential. Yeah.
You had to wear a helmet, and I remember that we were, I think I was 23, something like that, and
Yeah.
I remember driving that car, and we were sitting next to each other, helmets on, and I remember that I thought, this is the freaking coolest ever.
I was properly scared the
Yeah.
first time we went for it on like a piece of Autobahn.
And I just remember that this made such a big impression on me, and I can still feel and hear the sounds the car made, like
Yeah.
the sequential gearbox. And it just-
Getting pulled over by the police
Yeah.
who said, how the hell does this thing have a
Yeah,
license?
he did not. He thought that we put that license
Yeah,
plate on there
exactly,
ourselves, and he said, "What is this? We're not going to give you a fine, but we just want to know what it is."
Yeah.
And I just remember that it was also quite fast, for those days.
Yeah.
It was a fast car.
What did it weigh? Like 1,000 kilos?
No,
or?
less. I think it's like 850 or 900 kilos.
It's right here, the weight.
Yeah, the weight is over there. Power was 300 horsepower, I think.
Somewhere around that number, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was just, if we talk about memorable cars, that is one that always stuck with me.
Yeah, I somehow
Why-
agree
why
now.
did you walk
Yeah,
away?
Yeah, no, I had the, after that we drove the Xenos.
No, that was nothing.
That was a piece of shit.
No, that was nothing.
No, that was
The
my,
Radical was so
my link.
cool.
Yeah, the
And
Radical, yeah.
Okay.
So, next on the list. Let me try one that you don't have.
Yeah. Well, you can choose one that I haven't driven.
There's not
No.
a single one on this list. I think you might not have this. It's the Hellcat XR.
I did think about putting that on there, so good choice.
Thanks. Yeah, so you have a Dodge Hellcat, and there's an importer for Europe called AEC. That's the that's the right name,
AEC
right?
Europe,
yeah. In München,
Yeah, Munich.
and they decided, well, let's do like a special edition to celebrate the fact that we get to import this.
Yeah.
And they made a big fat supercharger upgrade.
Yeah.
With 888 horsepower, supposedly, because it just looked cool with the 888.
Yeah, it was more.
Yeah, it was 950-ish.
Yeah.
We figure. That was freaking insane. I think it was in winter that we drove it.
Yeah. We actually had Hellcat week.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And we uploaded all the videos we had with the Hellcat.
Yeah.
Because it was so cool.
But that thing made the stock Hellcat look like a freaking entry-level V6.
Yeah. And
Just
the stock
insane.
Hellcat is already so cool.
Way overpowered.
Yeah.
This is the definition of overpowered. It had wheel spin up until 150, easily, just big walls of smoke.
I think we did a good burnout with that car, right?
We probably did, yeah. But that was for me like one of, when you divide the car culture into bits, like American car culture in Europe, which is quite small, that for me was the ultimate celebration of that.
Yeah, I completely agree. That was just the right amount of scary.
Exactly.
That car.
Yeah, it was.
You always want to be just a little bit afraid of the car, then you know that you'll have a good time. That's kind
really
of how I always look at these things.
The other first thing you might notice is that the supercharger... The fuck! The other thing you might notice is that the supercharger whine is very loud.
Good choice, awesome car. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Next up, I've got one that I'm also sure that you don't have on your list because you haven't driven it, which is the R32.
Of course it is.
GT-R with the sequential gearbox and 1000 horsepower. So there are two cars that are on my list that I get asked about the most, one of which is this one. It was the most crazy experience to drive that car on the Autobahn for a few reasons. One, it had 1000 horsepower and a sequential gearbox. And it was just crazy fast, but also mega sketchy, because you're driving a 30-year-old, 25-year-old car way faster than it's ever engineered to do.
Yeah.
So it did feel like proper sketchy, but also because the car just took the beating.
Yeah, if you would have told me that you would go that fast, I would have said, no, you're not going to do that.
Yeah. So it took the beating, and I was not expecting that. And the owner, Jabs, he said to me...
I was expecting a mushroom.
Yeah, I was also expecting it to just blow up. And he said to me, no, it should be okay. It should be able to take this. Yeah. I did a warm-up lap first, in which the fire extinguisher started leaking. So that's the Autobahn POV, and then I did the review after that. And it was just such a cool video because a lot of things started happening. But I also did 310 km/h GPS. Okay, so now we have a digital speedo. That's good as well because the speedo won't go past 180. But it got up there so quickly.
And it sounded, I was there with the camera next to the Autobahn. It was
We have
amazing.
one shot. I'm actually jealous of you that you didn't drive it because you were standing there.
Sometimes it's better to stand there than
The
to
one
be in the car.
when you were standing next to the guardrail and
Yeah.
I'm accelerating from the front
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
And I think the straight six in the Nissans sound cooler than the 2JZs.
Yeah, the RB20.
Oh no, we didn't.
RB26.
RB26. I'm not really into JDM stuff,
BETT.
but my experiences so far with the RB26 really surpass the 2JZ
Yeah,
experiences I've had.
I agree. It just warms my heart. Oh, and the sequential. Oh my God! This is. I am having a crisis right now. Holy freaking moly! This is. This is insane. It was just a great experience, and
Jabs, do come back.
This might be, if I would have like a top 10, an actual top 10, this might be my number one.
Really?
This might be a contender. The experience was just ridiculous, and
Okay.
yeah.
Then I'll expose my number one.
Okay.
If we're doing number ones, apparently. It's, I don't have to get the list. It's the Ford GT.
That's on my list as well.
The first gen, that is.
Yeah.
I can just, to me that day was so special. Like, manual V8, like the body. Do we have a Ford GT right here?
No, it's over there. Okay.
Grab it! So we actually had like a silhouette made by Petrol Vibes. Use code AutoTopNL 10 if you want a discount on your Petrol Vibes, because you want one after seeing this. This, to me, whenever I see this, I remember the day I drove that car. It's such an amazing silhouette. I think it's amazing that they got this into production. I think it's such a beautiful homage to the original GT40. I think this is the best looking car ever made. I really do. And from a driving experience, it's also a number one for me. So it's clearly the number one for me. And it's a completely stock car. Well, it had a different...
It had a little tune.
And a little tune.
But it would be my number one on the list if it would be which car would you buy. So if you had all the money in the world and you could buy one of the cars you've driven for yourself just to enjoy, I think it would be
we bought 3 stupid Ferraris, which we sort of don't really care about. Don't do that. That's not good for advertising.
So we have them. We have all 3 here.
All the stupid cars lined
so
up.
we got the F430, which we converted to a manual gearbox. Great idea. We have the F12, which we sold after 9 months because we were just not really in love with it.
No.
And then we have the 599 on the top there. I don't think you guys can see that.
Which looks good.
Which is beautiful. And our spec was just gorgeous.
Yeah, but it drives like shit.
Yeah, it's like a...
So we could have bought like the best Ford GT in the world.
Yeah, there was one for sale, a grey one with HRE wheels. We could have bought that car instead of the F12 and the 599.
Yeah, but we didn't.
But we didn't.
And we really, really regret.
It is a sledgehammer, and it hits very hard, this sledgehammer. It really does.
Yeah, I love that car. So let me answer another question with this, because I think we should also give you guys a little bit of a look behind the scenes. The Ford GT was...
Okay. We're not both doing this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your turn.
It's my turn?
Yeah, it is.
So the Ford GT is one of the cars that we got from Buena Vida Supercar Rental.
Yeah.
And we actually paid for that car 3,000 euros.
Oh, we're really exposing everything.
Before taxes.
Okay.
We paid for that car. Yeah, so we get a lot of questions about how we get the cars and do we rent them.
Yeah.
Normally we don't rent them. It is just with this rental company, we basically pay for the car. It's a little bit less than you would pay if you would rent the car as a private person, but because we give the company some, you know, a bit of exposure, promotion, we get a little bit of a discount on the rental price, but we still have to pay for that car. And we knew that when we were picking up that car, we had to pay 3,000 euros. It was going to take a while for us to get that back from the video revenue.
ROI.
But also
business person.
Business life. But also we had to sign a pretty hefty...
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
We had to, how do you call that?
Liability. 100k. Was it more?
Way more.
Really?
To me, that was like the moment we looked at each other and we were like, okay, are we going to do this? Are we going to sign this contract? Meaning that if something happens with the car, we have to pay like a couple 100,000 euros.
Yeah.
We wanted to drive that car so badly that we just said, okay, let's do it. And
let me interrupt.
Yeah.
I always feel like we're Ash Ketchum and
gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all, and you're
Brock.
Yeah. You are. Oh, God. It's like you come across like a Charizard.
Yeah.
In the wild.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't have any viewers left now, but
no.
It's like, okay, you want it, right? No matter what.
It is just, you have to decide. Do you want it badly enough to sign that document?
Unicorns.
Yeah. And I'm happy that we caught it, because it is amazing. And we also made a video, go check out this video, because we had to return it back to all the way to the west of the Netherlands. So we were filming in Germany. And we had to go back, and it was 10 or 11 at night. And we made a really cool video, so go check out that one as well.
Yeah.
It feels brutal. It feels like it wants to be driven hard. But you have to pay attention. That is basically the thing about this car. And I mean, the suspension setup, the steering, everything feels so good. That was close GT.
Okay, good choice.
Thank you, bro.
That was a very cool car as well, which I also had on my list, obviously. Number 1, 2, 3. Okay, my next one is, I think you might also have this one. So, next one, Ruf CTR, which is the Yellowbird throwback version, if you will. Homage of a very, very, very cool car.
It's not even called the Yellowbird, the new one.
No.
It's just CTR.
It's CTR.
But it's an homage to the old Yellowbird.
I know, but I think Yellowbird is such a cool word. So
freaking cool.
Yeah. So this is Ruf, you might know or you might not know. They build sort of Porsches based on 964. The design is based on the 964, but they have
a
build them.
license that goes way back with Porsche that's never ending to make them look like 964s.
Okay. But they build them up from the ground, you know.
Their own chassis, it's not a 964.
Their own chassis, carbon fiber body, their own water-cooled flat six in the rear that is made to look like an air-cooled engine, which is also very cool. The interior is beautiful. Everything is just, it is like crazy, the attention to detail. It weighs like 1,100 kilos.
Yeah.
And it has, how much horsepower? Like 600? The turbo?
700 even.
650, something like that.
It's a crazy number.
It is absolutely nuts. And it's just executed so perfectly because it feels like you're driving an old car, but everything is new.
Yeah.
And that is an experience I've never had in any other car.
No, they're like €1 million, I think.
I think they're 850,000 euros before taxes.
I honestly think that's a bargain. I've always thought if I would have $1 million to spend on a car, I would go to Ruf immediately to buy that.
Yeah.
The CTR is amazing.
And we also drove the SCR, so I think it's pretty cool that we have the same one.
Yeah, that also.
So the SCR is basically like a GT3 engine version. And the CTR is basically like a turbo engine version. But I thought that the turbo with the manual and just the sheer force of that turbo engine.
I completely agree.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is quick. Oh, that is absolutely ridiculous.
Alright, so far so good. We're doing well. We've got
That's
a couple...
3 of overlap.
That's
score.
3 overlaps. And I said 3 and you said 5.
Yeah, I did.
I already know that we have at least one more.
Let me introduce that one. Because that is, of course, the Ariel Atom.
That is the Ariel Atom.
So, I guess the slowest car on our list.
Yeah.
It's the Ariel Atom. It's also a bit of childhood memory and...
A bit of nostalgia.
Nostalgia, because we've all seen Jeremy Clarkson in the Ariel Atom doing...
That's the V8, right? Or is that the normal one?
No, it's a normal one. Yeah, it's a normal one. And that howling supercharger on that Honda K20 4-cylinder engine... it is even cooler to drive than you think when you watch that video, because I was completely blown away by the whole driving experience.
Pound for pound, the most fun car you can buy.
Yeah, and what makes a fun car? It's a great sound, which it has very low weight.
Yeah.
You don't have any doors. You're sitting in a chassis with a steering wheel, and I think it looks quite cool.
And it's easy to drive fast.
Yeah, it is.
In that car. You get in it,
you become part of it.
It takes 2 minutes for you to sort of gauge everything, and then you're one with the car.
And that's also because of the, they switched to a turbocharger, but I think the linear character of the supercharger really benefits that, like...
Yeah. I really
getting
want one.
wholesome.
I really want one of those.
Yeah, me too.
I think that car is what driving is all about.
Definitely.
Yeah, it just sums up everything I love about cars, is that car. And cars nowadays are just so far away from what an Ariel Atom is. Yeah. Or most cars, I should say. And it just, it's amazing. If you ever get the chance to drive one, please do it, because
definitely.
It is
well, they're not even
amazing.
That expensive.
No, there's one for sale now for like 65,000 euros.
That's a good price.
Which is a lot of money for basically a toy.
You're not going to get a more special car for 65.
For 65k, it is just, value for money is actually pretty good, because you drive that car and I think you'd never want to drive anything else.
Well, maybe to work.
Well, to work. I mean, for fun.
Definitely.
You don't want to drive anything else for fun.
It is the closest experience, I think, to a superbike in a car.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, this is so much fun. The power delivery is so immediate. It's just you touch the throttle and you go. The handling is so direct. That steering, I mean, you move the steering wheel so little and the car just darts to where you want to go. It is so insane. Oh, and the way it slides around is so well judged. The setup of this car is absolutely spot on.
So that was number 4 overlap.
That was number 4 of the
And now that one. Okay, so I have one that you don't have, which is the 9FF G Turbo R.
Yeah, of course it's on there.
Yeah, so this is the second 9FF we drove. 1200 horsepower, manual gearbox.
As standard, this car had a 3.6 liter twin turbo engine and generated 480 horsepower, 620 newton meters of torque. But this engine is not stock, as you can see. 9FF have done a lot to this car. So what have they done to it? Well, they increased the capacity. So this is now a 3.9 liter flat 6 with 2 Garrett GTX 3582 turbos. It has forged pistons. Everything is reinforced basically. You can see the intake is different as well. And it now delivers between 11 and 1200 horsepower and between 14 and 1500 newton meters of torque. That's freaking insane. It weighs between 13 and 1400 kilos. So it's much lighter than before.
It's a Metzger engine, I think.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
With turbos. Remember when I said that I had 2 cars on the list that I got asked about most often? So one is the GT-R and the other one is this one.
Yeah.
It is...
I know.
The Kevlar roof as well was just insane. And I remember...
the little mirrors.
The little mirrors as well, yeah. And I just remember being so intimidated by this car. Driving it for the first time, it was just... There were so many sounds. It was just such an impressive thing to drive. And then I got onto the Autobahn and I had my ESP in sport mode, I think.
I think the roof was a millimeter thick.
It's like going like that at 100 kilometers an hour. I mean, and I drove, I think, 340 or something with that thing. It was crazy.
Crazy.
So I went onto the Autobahn and I was feeling out the car. And I was doing the review immediately. So no sighting lap, no warm-up lap. I just
get in and go.
Get in and go. ESP in sport mode. And I was doing some pulls. And it was really, really freaking fast. But I felt like something was wrong with the car, like it was cutting the ignition. But I didn't see any traction control light or something. So I went back, and this is, I think, why a lot of people
I think we even have a video of that, you coming back.
Yeah, it's in the video.
Yeah.
So I think this is why a lot of people really liked that video, because you can see me going back, and I'm talking to Jannes, who is the son of the founder of 9FF. And I say to him, like, it's cutting power, it's not really running well. And he said, it's traction control. And I was like, traction control? But it was happening at like 150 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, it's traction control.
In mid boost, if I floor it, it keeps like cutting power. It's like stuttering.
Okay. Traction control?
Is that traction control?
That's traction control. When you have traction control on and it's a very bit light, then you have pop, 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 pop.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I can't remember.
I turned it off and the thing just took off. It was so insane. And the sound it produced was like hell breaking loose. It was...
Was it sequential?
No, manual. No. It was manual and it did 3.97 100 to 200 with a manual gearbox.
That's insane.
I think the tires should be up to temperature now. So we can go for a little high boost run. Let's see. We've got traction control turned off, so I am going to take it super slow. Here goes nothing. Something you can feel. Oh my lord! In one gear! Oh my god! What is this machine? This is not human!
So, speaking of doing 3 seconds 100 to 200, the Huracan Performante.
Yes.
Bi-turbo.
I'm glad that you put it in there.
Because you didn't.
I didn't, and I switched it.
Just because it's one of the most ridiculous cars we've ever driven. It is the most ridiculous car we've ever driven because, you know, we're looking for fun, we're looking for cool, we're looking for sound in this list, but also for just sheer speed.
Yeah, and just ridiculous performance.
Yeah. And the bi-turbo Huracan Performante, go follow the owner on Instagram, by the way.
Yeah, really nice guy.
What's his Insta handle?
Huracan TT.
Huracan TT, go follow him. Really cool guy that he let us drive his insane car. I mean, he showed us what it, you know, takes to build this car.
Yeah.
It's insane.
The level,
really.
The dedication of this man
10 points.
To get the fastest Huracan is just amazing.
Yeah.
And he has one goal in life, and that is just to do the fastest runs on the Autobahn with that car.
Yeah.
So he goes to Germany at like 5, 6 in the morning on a Sunday, and he just does run after run.
Yeah.
He is also probably, maybe for some people, the favorite customer, but maybe for some people also the least favorite customer. But he really tests those cars. Like if the car survives him, then you know you've built a good car because he's on it.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
But like, I cannot even explain how fast that car is. That's the car I get asked about the most.
Yeah.
That thing is freaking insane. I have my references, like when I enter the Autobahn, like how fast I'm going on the on-ramp.
Yeah.
I go full throttle.
Before you hit the bumps, how far before the bumps?
I have the bumps.
Yeah.
And I can go at a certain speed on the bumps.
Yeah.
But that car sort of surprised me by its performance and speed. Let's go for third. Here we go, guys. Watch this. Oh my God! That was 358. I don't. Jesus! In no time, the performance in Corsa mode, 1250 horsepower, is so overwhelming. You really have to focus to keep up with the speed. It's just insane how fast it is. I mean, the normal Huracan Performante is already super fast, of course, but we'll put the two next to each other.
Oh yeah.
Like from the same spot.
Yeah.
Full throttle.
Do we have that from the same spot?
If we have it, we're going to show it now. So, next on the list.
Next on the list. I've got 3 left. Wow, this is taking a long time. I've got 3 left, and I'm going to go for an oddball. So I took out one of the, like I said, I'm happy that you put it on the list, like the Huracan. I put this
the
one
usual
on,
suspects.
Yeah, usual suspects. I put this one on the list because it is memorable. This is, let me paint you a picture. January 2023, if I'm not mistaken. This is a Volvo V70R.
Oh!
And you did the Autobahn POV, 566 horsepower. This car was built by a German guy who worked at a Volvo dealership, and he built that thing himself. It was built so well. You did the Autobahn POV, and it was very fast.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I don't know how fast it was, 100 to 200. It was very fast, manual gearbox. And then I did the review. I went onto the Autobahn and it was completely empty. And I just kept going. And I did 304 kilometers an hour GPS in a Volvo V70. And I thought that was just the coolest ever.
That was, I can vividly remember sitting in the back is he really doing this? And I'm really sitting in the back.
But it felt perfect. It felt like
I was laughing the entire way, like, okay, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, but that is a moment that sort of, you feel like it's still accelerating, and you look at the speedo and you're like, what the frick? I'm already doing 285 or 290. I'm going to hit 300 in this thing. And that moment is just etched into my mind, because I thought that was just the coolest ever.
I have a different moment. It was returning to the owner, and he asked, so what did you guys do speed wise? And you said, yeah, 304. And he was like, 304? 304? How the frick did you do 304?
It was amazing. That car was built so well, and I think it was so cool. And it just deserves a spot on this list.
Very good list.
For doing 304 in a Volvo.
Here we go. So this really is a much better place for this car than that stupid B road. I mean, it's got some long legs, this car. It moves. That is quick. So the fastest 100 to 200 we measured was actually 8.58 seconds, which is seriously quick. It's quicker than an Audi RS6, quicker than a BMW M4, quicker than a Mercedes AMG C63. It's 300 kilometers an hour in a Volvo. I don't think I've ever done this before. That is absolutely mental. That is insane. Holy moly, Lars. You've created a monstrous Volvo.
Yeah, this is a very usual suspect. It's the Aventador SVJ Gendani.
I also have that one.
That makes 5.
Yeah, you were right. You get a beer.
Yes. So, I think we did the RS7 from that owner with 1,000 horsepower from Brex Tuning.
Yeah.
And he came to the shoot and he said, yeah, I also have a Aventador SVJ with a different exhaust. And back then we had already done the normal SVJ and the Spider, or whatever it's called. Roadster.
No? Yeah.
We sort of didn't like the car, let's be honest, the SVJ.
I don't really like the Aventador in general.
No, me
it's
neither.
A really cool car to drive or to look at, and it's very dramatic.
Yeah.
But it's not a great car to drive.
But he said, yeah, but mine has a 30k or 40k exhaust on it.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, let's see what that's like. Well, it sounds like an 80s Formula 1 car.
So let's insert probably the most iconic AutoTopNL shot we've ever done.
The best sound ever.
The best sound, the most shared on the internet, because I see this everywhere.
Yeah.
And for good reason. But it's just about the exhaust. Like, that's the only thing.
Yeah, but it's very good at it.
But it's very good at it, yeah. It's like, it takes that car to the next level.
But it's what I said. It's about sound, it's about performance, it's about, you know, looks.
Completely agree. So, that leaves very nostalgic. And I'm super, super happy that we got to cross this off our list. It is the SL65 Black Series.
Wow. Good one. I didn't think of that one.
Because
I completely agree. Wow.
We have been hunting this car for literally since we are in existence.
Yep.
Because, and wow, this is also very like full circle.
Yeah.
Because the first time we tried to get this car for our channel was at a Mercedes dealership called Bert Stemerdink in Veenendaal in the Netherlands.
One of the first dealerships that ever wanted to work with us, which was quite hard in the beginning.
They were really nice and they gave us a C63.
Because of one very cool employee.
One salesperson, Thijs Timmermans.
Exactly.
Who later started his own company called Thijs Timmermans.
Everyone knows.
When he was working, that was the joke. But when he was working at Bert Stemelink, they had an SL65 Black Series.
Yeah. We were drooling all over that car.
Or was it a regular SL65?
No, it was a Black Series. It was a Black Series.
And we were like, you know, kind of naughty, asking for something like that. We knew it was too much, but we tried it anyway, and it was a no, of course. So I think it's really cool that now, like 14 years after that, we actually got to drive that car at Thijs Timmermans, because he had that car for sale, and I wanted to drive that car for so long, and it did not disappoint.
It really didn't.
It was amazing.
That
those long gears with that V12, it just takes off. And
that wide body.
The wide body is insane. You can see it in the mirrors. The sounds it makes is...
It has nothing to do with an SL. It's not even a roadster. It's a fixed roof.
Yeah, it is amazing. And
one of the most underrated cars in financial terms ever, I
definitely.
think. Because I expected it to be $1 million.
Yeah, it's not that expensive, relatively speaking, for such a limited AMG from basically the heyday of cars.
350 cars? 350 units? Somewhere around that number.
Yeah. But we did sell it through our video. Someone watched our video and bought that car at Thijs Timmermans.
One very lucky man.
Very, very, very lucky.
Very happy man.
Incredible car. And yeah, that is one that stays with me.
Let's do a flyby at the bridge. Our 9 should be there. So this should be close to the top speed. I'm going to let off because we have a corner here and a couple of cars, but holy moly, it was still pulling. Oh, this car is so cool. I love this thing so much. Wow, 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 what a beast. It's the combination of that basically smooth running V12, but it just puts out so much power so effortlessly.
And that's why we get to drive these cars. People actually freaking buy the cars that we test drive. Some people say, okay, they're not worth anything anymore because you did top speed in it. Well, we always think we just showed that it really, really works.
Yeah, we just showed that a 15 or 20-year-old car still does the top speed, has no trouble doing it.
And does its acceleration times claimed by the factory.
0 to 100, 100 to 200. Hence, it is in really good condition and you can buy this car.
Yeah. That's how I think a car enthusiast buys a car. A car collector is one with the toothbrush on the rims.
Yeah, cars are meant to be driven.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's also a common good, I think, a car, sort of. Like other the collectibles.
Yeah.
You possess a piece of history that's sort of everyone's.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit Che Guevara, but
no. I get what you mean.
You should show it to the people. Yeah. You know, it's so memorable when you see a special car on the street. Like when you're little, when you're young, or when you're older. Yeah. I can vividly remember seeing F40s, F50s on the street. Yeah. I will never forget it.
Definitely.
So thanks to those owners for using their cars.
Good job.
Yeah. Next one.
Do you have one left still?
I think so. Yeah. A12 Novitec. Very little reaction.
Yeah, I think the SVJ Gintani is sort of the same.
No, it's the better car. The A12 Novitec is the better car. Because the Aventador is a shit car, but the A12 is actually good.
Okay. It's your list, I mean.
Owned by Thijs Timmermans.
Yeah.
And the car had done how many kilometers?
165,000.
How is that not amazing? That is memorable. That is...
And it did exactly the same 100 to 200 time as the A12 we drove the first time with 30,000 kilometers.
That is top 10 amazing to me. It sounds amazing. Well, not as good as the Gintani, but nothing does.
No.
But it is, for me, one of the 10 best cars we've ever driven. It sounds unbelievable. If you don't have... That's the problem we have currently. That was... I don't know how we did that. On the same day as the...
Oh, that was on the same day.
As the Aventador, which was sort of a problem for the Ferrari, sound-wise.
Yeah.
But to drive, it was way
Yeah, it's
better.
a way better car than the Aventador, definitely. And it sounds incredible in its own right.
Definitely.
It's an amazing car, definitely.
I think in the YouTube community, it's the best sounding car ever.
Yeah.
Oh, listen to that! That is so crazy. Oh, it sounds like a Formula 1 car. Oh, it really does. And the fact that this thing is still working this well after this many kilometers is just amazing to me. And I will impress you even more, because we have measured the 100 to 200 km/h time, of course, and it was exactly the same as the other 812 we measured at 5.38. So it still has all its power, which is just insane. This is quite fast. 350. Oh, fucking love this car so much.
So, maybe
Don't I have us?
let us know in the comments what you think are the 10 most memorable cars we've driven.
Can I finish my list first?
Yeah, I'm not ending it, but
Oh, okay.
this was just a little tip.
Okay. My last car is one I sort of desire at the moment.
Okay.
We talked about it today, even in the car, thinking about moving towards it. Let's call it that. It's a 997 Porsche GT2, which currently is quite reasonably priced, and I think it's maybe the coolest Porsche I've ever driven.
Yeah, we do have to say that the one we drove, owned by Lem, go follow him on Instagram, really great guy, did have a tune.
Well, it did, yeah.
So it had 620 horsepower, which is basically GT2 RS, 997 power.
Very true.
I think that did help a little bit.
It did.
But it was an amazing experience.
But a 997 with a manual and a turbocharged engine is just... I get why 9FF always prefers using that engine in that car.
Yeah.
It is such a special experience.
And that gearbox.
Whether you have a 997 turbo manual or a GT2 manual... Well, a GT2 is always a manual, but it's such a special experience, especially because the GT2 is rear-wheel driven, which makes it even more exciting, and it has all the special aero and stuff like that. I thought it was such a analog, raw driving experience.
It's very old school.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too.
Like
it's
the
also
spirit of the car is older than it actually is, and it is a freaking beast. I love it. I want one.
To me, it feels like what the original Yellowbird would have felt like.
Exactly, something like that. Yeah.
The original Yellowbird was really famous because it was so fast and manual gearbox and a little bit dangerous as well. And the GT2 also had that rep that it was a widowmaker.
I can imagine.
So again,
it's raw.
It has to be a little bit dangerous. That's when you have the most fun driving experience.
Definitely.
Let's find out. Oh man, that pulls. Oh, that's fast. Oh, the power. Look at that thing go. That is ridiculous. That is 325 the first time I get some decent space. Oh, what a car.
So I guess that was it.
That was it?
10
Did
coolest cars
Did
we've
you
ever
label
driven.
your cars correctly?
Label? What do you mean by that?
I was wondering if you maybe had like 1, 2, 2, 3, 3.
No,
I
no,
thought
no.
you had more cars. You missed, and you even missed one. How is that possible?
How did I miss one? Oh shit, I forgot one. It's the McLaren 765 LT. You're right. Oh, okay. That's because of all the overlap that I got right.
Yeah.
The 765 LT, that's the final one. I thought that car, for a stock car, was freaking amazing. It's so sharp, it's so freaking fast.
Yeah.
The bangs from the exhaust, the directness in the front axle and the steering. For a modern car, since it's 2 years old, I think.
Something like that. Yeah, really impressive.
Freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, if you think it's only 45 horsepower extra compared to a 720S, which we drove quite frequently back then, 720S, and then we had the 765 LT, you really appreciate the 765 LT.
But you think, like, you already think the 720S is at such a high level that you're like going into the 765 and you're like, okay, how good is it going to be? Because the 720 is already so good, but it just, it really blows it out of the water, because it is, I think that the cornering speeds that you get with that car on the on-ramps and the off-ramps on the Autobahn are just nuts.
Yeah, you could go any speed, any speed.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't really like the big arrow wing stuff that's going on with like a modern 992 GT3 RS.
Yeah.
I just don't care about it. It hasn't made the list by a distance.
No.
But that car, with that car, it sort of comes together.
Yeah.
It all the craziness that you see when you enter it, you feel when you drive it. And I really didn't have that with the GT3 RS. It didn't do anything for me.
No, well, yeah, it's a very, very impressive car, but it doesn't have the explosiveness of the 765, I think.
The camera battery dying.
Camera battery is dying.
So that was it, guys. The top 10, or maybe it was even more, the coolest cars we've ever driven. Thank you for watching. Go subscribe by clicking the button right here.
And let us know in the comments, what do you think are the 10 most memorable cars?
Very good.
We've ever driven.
Very good.
Click all the buttons, and we'll see you at the next one.
Bye.